Man, I don't even know where to start with this because honestly, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. Steve Harvey, the guy who has been a pillar of American entertainment for decades, known for his comedy, his hosting, his larger-than-life personality, has apparently become Muslim. And when I say apparently, I mean the information is out there everywhere, across the news and social media, yet it still feels surreal to process. Think about that. Steve Harvey, someone whose entire career has been built around a familiar, charismatic persona, making a spiritual shift of this magnitude. This isn't switching up a diet. This isn't starting a new workout routine. This is a complete transformation in how he views the world, in how he sees spirituality, purpose, meaning, and the way he wants to live the rest of his life. And I have to admit, I'm feeling this strange mixture of curiosity, admiration, and pure shock, because it's one thing to study religion, to talk about it casually, or even convert quietly. But when a public figure of Steve Harvey's scale makes a move like this, it's massive. It forces you to think about how people in the spotlight balance personal beliefs with the persona they've built over decades. Now Steve Harvey is making a statement that says he's aligning with Islam. And this isn't surface level. Islam, like any major faith, has depth, philosophy, discipline, ritual, community. For someone like Steve, someone with charisma, influence, and the ability to connect with millions, this shift isn't just about him. It affects his audience, his fans, the people who grew up watching him, and those who look to him for motivation or inspiration. And I keep asking myself, what does this mean in the broader cultural landscape? Because America is a melting pot of religions, ideas, identities, cultures. But when someone as mainstream and iconic as Steve Harvey embraces Islam, it does something unusual. It challenges perceptions, it sparks conversations, it confronts stereotypes in ways that can't be ignored. I can imagine the conversations he must be having with his family, his colleagues, maybe even with himself late at night, thinking about how this choice will change the way he interacts with the world. The more I think about it, the more I realize this isn't just a personal decision. It's a ripple effect. Steve Harvey has been a voice of humor, wisdom, and entertainment for decades, and now that voice is evolving, shifting, deepening. And I know some people will say, why are you shocked? People convert all the time. And sure, that's true. But the visibility Steve Harvey has, the cultural footprint, the sheer influence makes this unlike any private conversion. It's like watching history unfold in real time, right in front of your eyes. I can't help but reflect on my own assumptions about religion, fame, authenticity. How do you stay true to yourself in an industry that constantly pressures you to perform, entertain, and maintain a certain image? Then suddenly, spirituality calls and you answer it publicly, boldly, without hiding. That's powerful. That's rare. And honestly, that's what makes this moment so significant, because it's not just about Steve Harvey converting. It's about witnessing someone in the public eye take a meaningful, deliberate, courageous step toward a faith that requires commitment and understanding. Authenticity like that is rare. So rare. It's rare to see someone embrace transformation, not for publicity, not for performance, but because it resonates with their core. And it makes me want to learn more. What drew him to Islam? What part of it spoke to him? How does it align with his worldview? How will it shape his interactions with people moving forward? And it makes me rethink the assumptions we hold about celebrities, that they're only defined by what they show on TV, but they're human. They wrestle with purpose, identity, meaning, just like anyone else. And sometimes the answers they find shock us, challenge us, or even inspire us. So yeah, I'm shocked. I'm curious. I'm reflective. And I honestly can't wait to see how this unfolds. Not just in Steve Harvey's life, but in the conversations it will spark around the world. Because moments like this, they're rare, they're meaningful. They remind us that growth, faith, and transformation can appear in ways that challenge our expectations and expand our understanding of the human experience. And the more I think about it, the more layers I see, because it's not just Steve Harvey saying, I'm Muslim now. It's about the ripple effect on society, culture, media, and how we perceive faith in public life. I keep asking myself, what does this mean for the people who grew up watching him, for kids who idolized him, for audiences who saw him as this huge, larger-than-life figure, and now they see him embracing something entirely new? That's powerful, because it challenges default narratives people carry about religion, identity, and what transformation really looks like. And I can only imagine the private moments, the reflections, the doubts, the excitement, the fear, because making a spiritual shift publicly is one of the most vulnerable things a human can do. And I keep thinking about fame. Fame is a strange double-edged sword. You have influence, but you also have this pressure to maintain a persona, to be the version of yourself the world recognizes. And now Steve Harvey is saying, I am not just that persona. I am a person. I am exploring something deeper. I am embracing this faith. That's courage, real courage. And it makes me reflect on my own life, on the times I've confronted beliefs, identity, purpose, and how difficult it is to take a stand for something authentic when the world is watching. I imagine the conversations he's having, some people supportive, some skeptical, some unsure, because religion is personal, but it's also social, and navigating that is complex. Then there's the timing. In a cultural moment where discussions around Islam are everywhere, filled with misconceptions, stereotypes, tension, Steve Harvey becomes a living example that faith is not a monolith, that spirituality is a journey, that identity is dynamic, and it's fascinating to watch. It's fascinating to see how this plays out. In the media, online, in homes across America. People will dissect it, analyze it, praise it, criticize it, but ultimately it sparks awareness, and awareness leads to curiosity. Curiosity leads to dialogue, and dialogue is what bridges gaps between communities and generations. Steve Harvey's choice might open conversations that never would have happened otherwise. Because when someone of his visibility makes a move like this, it forces people to confront assumptions, to reflect on what they know and what they don't. And that inspires me, because it reminds us that spiritual evolution isn't limited to private moments. It can be public, it can be influential, it can teach millions. I keep thinking about the contrast between the entertainment world and spiritual pursuit. One is flashy, performative, loud. The other is introspective, quiet, disciplined, and yet Steve Harvey is bridging both. He's showing you don't have to abandon one world to embrace another. You can integrate them, transform them, let them evolve together. And that's a lesson for all of us, because whether someone is a fan or a critic, seeing him embrace faith so openly forces all of us to ask, am I living in alignment with what I truly believe, or am I performing for others? And that's the human part, the real part, because beyond the celebrity shock factor, this is about authenticity, courage, evolution, and I'm incredibly curious to see how this integrates into his daily life, career, messaging, comedy, and presence, because faith reshapes perspective. Perspective reshapes behavior, and behavior influences others. It's like watching a live experiment in culture, identity, and personal transformation, all unfolding in real time. And honestly, I can't get enough of it. This is rare, meaningful, thought-provoking, the kind of moment that makes you reflect on yourself, the world, and the potential for change. And I feel like this is only the beginning. Steve Harvey's journey into Islam will ripple far beyond what any of us can predict, sparking discussions, inspiring curiosity, maybe even encouraging people to explore their own questions, beliefs, and spiritual paths. This is the kind of impact that goes beyond entertainment, beyond celebrity. It touches something fundamentally human, something about growth, courage, authenticity, and that's why I'm still here thinking about it, processing it, trying to understand the cultural, personal, and spiritual weight of this moment. because in a world obsessed with performance over substance, this right here is a rare example of someone choosing faith, transformation, and self-discovery in the most public arena possible. And that, my friends, is something worth talking about, something worth thinking about, something worth learning from.